Hello, everybody, and welcome back to the Distance Dilemma podcast. My name is Shaun, and I'm in Dublin, Ireland. This is Imran, he is in Thun, Switzerland, and this is our long distance friendship podcast. This is episode number 37, and we're kicking off with our weekly out of context scenario. This is the part where me and Imran give each other a scenario from our week out of context, and the other person has to try and guess what it is. So, Imran, can you please give me your weekly out of context scenario?
You know what? I was thinking of my scenario for this week, and then I was thinking, how can I make this easier for Sean? Because he's on like a 0-3 run right now. But I think it's going to be even more difficult for him. So, my week out of context weekly scenario for this week is koi fish.
Koi fish.
Yes.
How was that meant to be any easier than what you've given me before?
No, that's what I was saying. No, it's not easier. I was trying to think of an easier way, but this is like the highlight of the week for me because it was funny. But yeah, I'll get
Okay,
you.
was it this something got to do with Nicola's parents being over?
Yes.
Okay, did you go to like a market or something like that, or did you go out to like a shop to go and get to a fishmonger or something?
No, but we were out. We
Okay,
were
did you go
out.
to a lake?
We did go near a lake, yes.
Okay, did you like stand on a dead fish of some
No,
sorts?
no,
Okay, did you go fishing?
no,
Okay, did you get in the water in any way, shape, or form?
no.
What's the name of this fish again?
Koi fish.
Koi fish.
It's like the
Did,
Japanese fish, if you've ever seen photos of them.
okay. Oh, is that the big blobby thing?
No, it's like red and white, and they've got like a long tail. A lot of people get tattoos of them. I don't know if you've ever seen them, but
Okay.
okay, okay.
Did you guys like eat one of these?
No,
No.
no.
Okay. What the fuck, man?
Yeah, I feel like
Hold on.
every week it's just getting harder for Sean.
Yeah, and I think I said this last week, but I was expecting this to be the opposite way around. That I
Yeah,
thought
yeah,
like Imran would struggle to get mine, but Imran's like gotten them like 2, 3 weeks in a row now.
yeah. Or
Koi
close enough to them.
fish.
Yeah,
Koi fish. You guys were out and about with Nicola's parents. You didn't eat it. You didn't step on it.
no.
No. Did you see one in real life? Like
Yes.
was okay, right. Did you go
Yeah.
to an aquarium?
No, 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 no.
Fuck me.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay.
Okay. I'm gonna
Was
give
it
you.
in
I'm gonna give you
yeah.
more to the context. So we went
Okay.
to this light show that was on in Tune, and it was near the lakeside. So you know the bridge that we took the photo on when you and Simone came
Yes.
over. Yes. Okay. So it was near that area. That's where the light show on. It was the last one of the evening. Okay. And we seen a koi fish, and that's my last clue, and I'll give you two more goes,
Okay.
and then we'll move on.
Was it like a was it like a thing in a parade or something where like you know, I'm not like a parade, like, but like it was like an advertisement of some sort where there was one of these fish like on like a sail of a boat or something, or
No, no,
on the side
no,
of a building.
no.
Was you said that you said you didn't did you see and like did you see this thing alive?
Yes.
Okay, I'm assuming there must have just been. Did they like let loads of them go into the river?
Well, like years ago, yeah, because like I said before, it's not connected to like a sea, or so it's like all the water is formed down from the glacier, so they put fish into the water. But yes, I've seen a koi fish. Yes,
Is that in any way related to this thing of
yes,
okay,
yes, yes.
was there like a breeding festival on for these things that they were like we need these guys to mate so we need more of them to be in the water?
No, no, he's not gonna get it. He's not gonna get it.
Okay,
He was
no.
really trying. I have to say, for the subject matter, he did very well. He was able to figure out what the location was and everything. Okay, so
Yeah.
like I said before, yeah, we went to a light show. It was the last one in town for that day. Parents were there anyway, and Nicola went to go get her dad a drink, and I was just talking to Nicola's mom and dad, and I said, "Oh, look in the water there. There's some koi fish." And they just started bursting themselves laughing. And they were like, koi fish. And I was like, yeah, that's what they're called. They're like the Japanese fish. And they're like, do you know what koi means in Romanian? And I was like, no. And she was like, testicle. She was like, you're basically calling them testicle fish. And I was like, oh shit. Like, well, like they were wet. Like I was trying to figure out why they were laughing because they kept looking at me weird. They're like, I was like, what the hell? So yeah, there you go. Koi, but it's spelled like the Japanese spell like KOI, but the Romanian spelling is like COI. So they were like,
Right.
"What do you mean by testicle fish?" But yeah, that's my out of context scenario. There was
Okay.
no way you were
I
going to get
didn't.
that. Like, you know what I mean?
But this is it. Like how would like sorry, I didn't realize I had to brush up on my Romanian before
Yeah,
we
yeah, yeah.
started the podcast
We'll
this
get him
week.
on the Duolingo next week.
Yeah, shout out to
What's
Nicola as well, though,
yeah,
fucking legends.
yeah, legend. I'll let
Okay.
you go on, Shaun.
Okay, so my out of context scenario is I was in the back of my car and I ended up punching my passenger seat.
Okay. Does this have anything to do with Chelsea?
Yes. Fuck me.
Okay. So, yeah, you're driving on the M3 or the motorway, or I'm presuming, or you're in traffic. You're watching the Chelsea game on your phone, yeah, and it was like the last minute of the game. Obviously, I've seen the game. I've seen the highlights, and Sunderland scored in the last minute. So you turned around and you punched your uh the seat beside you. That's
You're not a million miles off with that. Yeah, like you're like I think the key part to think something you didn't dissect about that was the fact I said I was in the back of my car, so I wasn't driving.
Oh, sorry, you weren't driving. Okay, sorry.
No, I was in the back of my
Yeah.
car.
Okay, so you were in the back of your own car.
Yes.
Yes. So you're in the back of your own car. Um, was it your some person because Simone doesn't drive? Was it you were in your nanny's car?
No.
No. We're in
No,
one of the lads'
I was
car.
in my I said to you I was in my
Okay.
car.
Okay, so why did you? I'm trying to figure out why he's in the back of his own car. Okay, you pulled up for rehearsals or something. Told the lads, I want to finish the rest of the Chelsea game. You went into the back seat of your car because you had shit in the front seat, and you saw the thing, and you turned around, and you punched the seat.
Now you've got the Chelsea stuff down to a T, but you've not got the reason why I'm in the back of a car.
Yeah, I'm trying to
Like
find why you're
you
no,
know where
well,
you
of
know
your own
where
car. Why are
my
you in
own
the back
car.
of your own car?
I'm in my own car.
Maybe
Chelsea game was on
are
Saturday.
you yeah, are you bringing Zeno on a walk?
No.
No. Okay. Okay, give me two more goals. Give me two more goals.
If it helps, Zena and Simone were about 100 kilometers away from me at this moment in time.
Okay, so they're not there at all.
No.
Okay. Well, that's actually a good thing. At least you didn't punch someone in the back of your car.
Yes, yeah,
You
no,
know, yeah,
I
yeah.
wouldn't do that.
Okay. What the hell? Who's in the front seat of your car? Are you with Adam and Kelsey? Are they in the front seat?
No.
No. But then again, why would they be in the front seat if you're in the back seat? I'm trying to figure out why you're in the back seat of your car. Are you having a takeaway?
No.
No. Okay. I give up. I give up. I give up. I
Okay.
give up.
But you got like 60% of it though, to be fair.
Okay.
Right. So
Again, I'm still winning. Yes, but
the,
yeah, go on.
the big thing you missed out on there was the fact that I said I was 100 kilometers away from my house.
You were
So
in Wexford.
I was in Wexford.
Yeah.
Exactly. So I was
I
in
knew that he
Wexford.
went to Wexford at the weekend as well. Oh, God. Anyway, go on.
So yeah, I was in Wexford for Friday night and during the day on Saturday. So I stayed in a hotel on Friday night. Went
Yeah,
to go and see some Coronas gigs. Of course, what else would they be doing on a Friday and
exactly.
Saturday evening? But anyway, drove down on Friday, stayed in the hotel on Friday. And I said to myself, I'm not gonna, because it was like 200 quid a night for any hotel down there. And I said, I'm not staying down
Damn.
there a second night. I said, what I'll do is I'll drive home on after the second gig. So I drove home from Wexford at like I got in at half 2 in the morning Saturday night.
Whoa,
I left the
long
gig at
drive.
like half 12. Yeah, it was grand. It was actually a grand drive. Like there was
No one's
nobody
on
on
the
the
road,
road.
sure. Yeah.
There was just a straight dart up to Dublin. But anyway, so the reason though I had to check out my hotel at 12 o'clock, and the gig wasn't on until later that evening. And it was also freezing as well. And I wanted to watch the Chelsea game. So what I done was when I was in my hotel room, I connected my iPad to the Wi-Fi using like the way if it's not free Wi-Fi, like if it's not a public Wi-Fi, you have to like enter your room number and do fill in the little pop-up ad and that sort of crap. So I did that before I left the hotel. And then I left the hotel, checked out, no problem, went and got my breakfast, and I came back to my car and I was watching the match in the back seat of my car while I was still in the hotel's car park using their Wi-Fi and just watching the
Okay.
Chelsea game. And the reason that I put then this is the part where you got everything right. So I was watching the Chelsea game in the back seat of my car, and then Sunderland scored a last minute winner, and I was fucking fuming, and I just fucking smacked my passenger seat out of frustration. La
at least
passion
there
is
there
what I
was
like to call it.
there was no one damaged in the
No,
car.
no, it wasn't like I didn't like break. I just like just gave it a smack like and went like for fuck's sake,
Yeah.
But yeah, that was the only thing I could really think, especially because we recorded the podcast late last week and we're recording it
Yeah.
early this week, so there wasn't like a big like there wasn't like a lot of like random stuff that I couldn't do wipe my ass again, so
Yeah.
there wasn't a lot of stuff that was like that applicable to be like that's kind of interesting out of context. But yeah, that was out of context. Fuck me, I fucked that one up. That was out of context weekly scenarios for the week on episode 37, guys. And yeah, we're gonna move on to our topic for the week now. Our topic this week is the strangest things that we have seen on public transport.
Mm.
We've talked about the state of Irish public transport a lot before, and we talked about some no nos in terms of like this is
Not
like
what to do.
disrespectful, like playing loud music and shit, But this is just like the weirdest shit that we've seen while on public transport,
Hmm.
or stuff that's happened to us. Even I've got two things that
Hmm.
happened to me that are a bit fucking mad as well. Do you have something lined up for this
I've
already,
got
or
I've got two stories that involve me getting the bus in Ireland, and then I've like one thing I kind of is on the premise of like not what to do. And I'll probably start with that is like when you're on the bus and if you're wearing sandals or in somewhere, don't take your sandals off and put your feet on the chair. So
yeah,
like if you're sitting on a four-seater and you're facing a guy who's wearing sandals and he takes his sock sandals off and puts his feet on the chair beside you. Like, bro, come on. Don't do that. Jesus Christ.
that's pretty similar to what I have written down here. Is like I've seen people just like take their feet out. I seen somebody before who didn't have sandals on, who like had work boots on, took their work boots off, took their
Oh,
socks off,
nasty,
and
bro.
put their feet up. Like that's fucking nasty to hit. Like
If you've got
what
your own
goes through your
car,
head to be
fair.
like this
Like,
is okay.
yeah. If you've
Sorry,
got
go
your
on.
own car and you want your own space, like go ahead and do that. But like Jesus Christ, man, like there's other people using the transport. But I say if you're on that bus and you've got a foot fetish, you're loving life. You know
Oh,
what I
Quentin
mean?
Tarantino is living the dream on Dublin
Yeah,
bus.
yeah, yeah, yeah. Love Tarantino. Don't know if he. So yeah, my first story. So if you're from Blanche, if you're listening to the podcast right now, you definitely know who Mad Jenny is. Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
I thought you were
So
gonna say
you,
something about the 39A,
no, yeah, yeah.
but
So essentially, Ma Jenny is a woman who drives around in kind of like an elderly scooter around the Blanchardstown shopping center, um, and kind of just like begs for stuff. She actually won the lotto. A lot of people don't actually know this, and she gave a lot of money to um horse therapy. Just just random, I know this is so like not off topic for the podcast right now. But anyway, so yeah. So she's a bit mad, right? Anyway, so I was getting the 39A, I was heading to work in the morning time, and it was a normal day. The bus was fine, arrived on time and everything. And we got up to like the roundabout where McDonald's is. So where Blanche Center is, there's like two roundabouts. You got a big roundabout to take all the different exits for which way you want to head down, which side of the center you want to go to. And then you've got the buses where they pull up. You obviously know because we both live in
yeah,
Blanche. Right. Anyway, so I'm on the bus. It gets to the point where it's the bus pulls up at the roundabout. It's going to take the first exit. So in the case to the left, he pulls in. Ma Jenny crosses the road like off the curb. I know this is not on the bus, but like, and then like pulls like a skid in front of the bus, and the bus driver like jammed on the brakes. Of course, like how many? I don't know. The whole bus is packed, and I'm sitting on downstairs at the bottom of the bus. I'm kind of like near the front. And a lad was holding a cake, I'm presuming for like someone's birthday or something, because it was wrapped in like a white thing. And he fell and the cake smashed everywhere on the floor. And it was like a chocolate cake. And man, everyone felt so bad for him. Because when he fell, like he fell on top of the cake, and then obviously
yeah,
it splurged out onto the floor, and it went like everywhere along the floor, over people's like legs. And then it was like that weird thing where like the bus driver then pulls up to the stop, and then everyone from upstairs is coming down. So then you've got like a rush of 30 people trying to step over this guy who's on the floor with the cake. And it's like, you ever seen that like moments where like humans like don't know what to do in certain situations? It was just
yeah.
like one of the moments where like people were stepping over this guy who had cake all over him on the floor. Like no one even like I was thinking I was beside him, so I helped him up like with another woman. We just put our hands out to help him up, and I
Mm.
was looking around like not one other person like from the back was like, oh, this guy's about to fall over. Let me grab him or let's like go over to him. And I was just thinking, this is mad. Like the way people's decisions making on public transport is mental.
There's not a lot of like well-known social etiquette for someone having dropped their cake all over the bus. Is there?
I
Like
know.
I don't know what I would do in that scenario as well. Because like
Well,
I
like
think
if
if
someone fell in front of you, it would help them up, of course.
yeah, of course. Like, but like at the same, I think if I was in that situation, I'd like want everyone to like just like give me a bit of space and like back the
Yeah,
fuck
yeah,
off.
yeah, yeah,
You
yeah,
know,
yeah.
I think it depends on like the person and like the vibe that they're giving off. Like, you know.
I think he was Christian because he was just going off on like, please God, Lord Jesus, like he was like that out when he fell over, and like I was trying not to laugh. It's just funny the way he was pronouncing everything. I don't
No.
know if you have anything similar to that.
I've got a similar thing. Okay, yeah, I've got something like along the same lines. I'm not sure if you were with me for this. Something in the back of my head is telling me you might have been with me when this happened, right? But
Okay.
anyway, I was getting the bus from Ongar or Hartstown or something like that up to the Blanche Centre as well. Same bus stop that you were talking about there.
Yeah.
And a woman got on the bus. All was normal, and it was a bus. Importantly, to this, it was one of those buses that didn't have a door in the middle, so it's just one big long and one long bus that only has the door at the top to get on and off. Right, so there's no center doors.
Yeah.
And this woman gets on the bus, and there's like nothing wrong. There's like she's not physically disabled. She hasn't got any crutches or she hasn't got a wheelchair or anything like that. And there was a sign on the bus that just said the wheelchair ramp wasn't working. Right.
Rita, Rita,
Were
Rita
you
made
were
me
you
late
there with
for.
me for
I
this?
know, no, I was with you for this, and this has happened to me 3 to 4 times. If you're listening to this podcast right now, Rita, you've made me late for work so many times, and I hate you. I hate you, Rita. But anyway, go on.
Yeah. So you pull up to Blanche Centre, and the key part of this was she walked onto that bus. She hasn't got a limp. She's not sore, and
Oh,
like there's a sign there that says the wheelchair ramp is not working. You know,
yeah,
just a heads up, obviously for people who genuinely need to use it, or like people like
of
maybe some
course.
elderly folks who have got a bad back and
Yeah,
stuff like
or if
that.
you're in a
Like the
wheelchair.
people who genuinely need it. Like this is a woman in her 40s who, for all intents and purposes, I know this might be, I don't know if this is like a bad thing to say. It might be like ableist or something like that, but like she didn't present with anything wrong to her, and she got on the bus fine. But when she was coming off, she was demanding the bus driver let the wheelchair ramp down for her. Now,
Yeah,
while this is a bit of a, if you're able-bodied or whatever, what that's a bit of a crazy thing to ask for. At the end of the day, if it was working and it was causing that much for fucking scene, just open it. But the bus man literally could not open the wheelchair ramp, and she would not let anybody behind her get off, and she
yeah.
wouldn't let anybody get on the bus, and she would hold her arms out and scream at anybody who tried to touch her and was saying she was being assaulted. And
Hmm.
same with the bus man, and she was just having a scream match with the bus man, and like we're there's like, and this is Blanche Centre as well. This is where like I'd say at least 50% of anybody who's on that bus is getting off because you're going to work, you're going to shop, you're doing something, and she won't let anybody off, and she's having like a temper tantrum. The guards had to get called and all because she would not
Yeah.
leave, and it was like one of the craziest things I've ever seen. Like and like you couldn't do it because like she would hold her hands out, and if you touched her, she would say she's being assaulted,
Assault. Yeah.
you know. And then yeah, it was just mad.
Oh, oh,
The whole thing was she just wanted to walk down on the wheelchair ramp, but as you said, like it was broken, and like she walked up and down the bus. No, but like she didn't sit in like a disabled spot or anything like that. Like I think she sat like kind of in the middle of the bus, and she walked up and walked down fine. She was well able to hold people off because people obviously did try and walk by her, and she was well able to enforce herself and say you're not going anywhere or you're not
literally.
coming onto the bus. Like, you know, it was just
Mad shit.
I wasn't crazy in thinking that you said you were there with me for that, weren't you?
I was with you there for that. And then also in the second time as well, I've experienced this like 3 or 4 times on the bus where there was another time where Sacred Heart of Jesus School is. It's this primary school in my local area. I went there when I was growing up as well. But anyway, I was going past there on the way to work, and I could hear downstairs, "Can you put the lift down?" And same thing again. The the wheelchair ramp or the wheelchair lift, whatever you want to pronounce it, it was broken. But the guy was like, "Look, I'll." The guy that was driving the bus was like, "Yeah, I'll come out and I can give you a hand up, if you need it." Like, fair enough to him. And like, I could see, I was at the bottom, so I could see him opening the door. And actually, I actually don't know if this is true or not, but I'm pretty sure Dublin bus drivers are not meant to leave there unless they're finishing their shift, like while they're on things. So he was like willing to, get out and help this woman up. And like, I mean, man, the gap was literally like 3 meters off the floor. Like you said
Mm.
before, I've seen her walking around the shopping center. There's nothing really wrong with her in terms of like being able to move your basic muscles. And she was like, "This is a disgrace. What's your name?" And he was like, "Yeah, look, this is my details. Look, there's a sign there to say that it's broken. I apologize. There's the next bus coming in 5 minutes. Now you're making me late to go to my shopping center appointment." And she just starts screaming abuse at this bus driver, right? So the bus driver is like listening to her for about 5 minutes, and then she starts like getting her hand back and trying to hit him, like as he's at the door. And I'm watching all this, and people are shouting up like, "What are you doing? Get off the bus!" You're making a whole scene. So so the bus driver hops back into his seat, slams his door, and then presses the doors as she's like in the doorstep. So she takes a step back, obviously, because she can see the doors closing, and the bus driver just drove off. And I
Fair
was like,
play,
everyone,
fair play.
everyone, no man, everyone on the bus was just clapping and being like, "Fair play! What a fucking idiot!" Like,
Yeah,
Jesus, like, I feel bad for bus drivers sometimes because that shows some abuse, like.
yeah. Well, like, there's two sides that she has to be like.
Oh, there's something wrong with her.
There's
Like,
there's not all the light bulbs aren't screwed in properly there. Like,
no, no,
that
no,
that sorry, that might sound like a bit
a bit harsh.
a bit harsh, like, but you know, yeah, that like that was just this, yes, something really strange that happened. Like, and this thing is the fact she was like well able to hold other people off and threaten other people. That's where I kind of lost my sympathy. Like, it's not like she was being nice about it, and when you start threatening other people, that's where like I'll lose all sympathy for you. You know,
Kind of off topic,
um,
but like, what's like the worst bus rule in Dublin? Do you think like you've gotten?
I'll say 39, 39A.
39 is pretty bad. For me, it was the 17A, and that's where I was on my place, and I used to go to
Mm.
Ballymore, and that was rough.
Yeah,
Um,
yeah.
like you'd be like lads at 8 o'clock in the morning trying to offer you cans of drills and smashing them on the floor, and lads on wax in the back of the bus, and it's like, lads, please, it's 7 a.m. Like, I'm just trying to go to college, like.
Yeah, like I think there's like in terms of like punctuality, the 39 is amazing. Like the
Yeah,
39, there's always 39s running. Like the 39 will bring you anywhere your hopes and dreams desire. I'm pretty sure I get the 39 to Switzerland. Honestly, it'd probably bring you there.
to Narnia.
It brings you like there's nowhere that 39 won't bring you that's not like a 5 minute walk away from where you actually need to be, except the airport. Honestly, I'm
Literally.
surprised it doesn't go to the airport. But like, yeah, like in terms of like the route and like the noisiness and the people and stuff, 39 is the worst. But the one thing that it is brilliant for is punctuality and reliability, because it comes every 5 minutes. Even when a bus does go ghost, 39, it's not really a problem because another one's coming in 5 minutes. But for ghost buses, I would say
Bus Éireann.
the bus
Bus
errands. Yeah.
Éireann
Oh my
is
god. I remember
terrible.
I had a
Oh my
job
God.
where I had to get a bus errand bus to the job, and I was late at least twice a week. And like even they were like, "It's not your fault. Like, what can you actually do at this point?" Like, no, because I would just be sending them screenshots every day, and they were like, "You don't need to send screenshots, man. You can just, you can just be like, yeah, look, it didn't show up again. We'll believe you." Like, yeah, it's just bus errands a shit show. It is a shit show. Like, honestly.
My my algorithm at the moment has just been edits of the Dart and Bus Éireann. I don't know why. Some people have like no time in their life, and they're just doing like, it'll say like the Dart, the way when it pulls up at a stop, it'll be like, I don't know,
Mm.
Drumcondra or something like that. And there's like someone putting like voice echoes and like different photos of the Dart in different positions, and
Yeah,
I'm
I think
like,
you sent me
Jesus
one of
Christ.
them.
Oh man, it's ridiculous. Like, but yeah, hand on heart, Bus Éireann, you need to sort your shit out. Like,
Mm. Have you got another, story or like something that happened that was just really weird on the bus? Because I've
no,
got the next three things I have are like me directly. Like, this isn't just like something happening on
there
the
was
bus.
just
Like,
one, there was just one time I was on the bus and I was heading into the city centre to meet my mate, and we got on to the M3, and I've been on the bus about 5 minutes now, And I paid for it obviously with my leave card, got on the bus. And it was about three stops later where the bus driver completely stopped at one of the bus stops. And then like I could hear I had my earphones in, so I was just listening to music or whatever like on my phone. And then I could hear some fella shouting at like the top of the bus. He was like, "Do you hear me? Get down here now. You didn't pay. Come here, get down here now. Hello, young fella." And then I looked up and he was shouting at me, but I was looking around, I thought it was someone else.
Mm.
And he was like, "You didn't pay." And I was like, "I did pay. I have my leave card." And he was like, "No, no, come down here now." So I went downstairs and he was like, "Look, you didn't pay at the time I said to." And I went in, I pulled up the app, like the leave card app, because even when you pay, it comes up as like a
Mm.
transaction made of the stops. And I was like, "Look, I paid and all." And he was like, "Oh, sorry, young fella. Must have been someone else, like a proper inner city Dublin lad."
Mm.
And it turns out it was another lad who was actually at the bottom of the stairs who was wearing a similar jacket to me.
Right. Okay.
Uh, and it only wasn't until I was getting off the bus that the bus driver came, like he tapped my shoulder as I was getting off the bus because I went up the front. I went past the bus driver at the front of the bus when I got into town, and I was like, "Oh, um, he just like tapped my shoulder and was like, "Oh, sorry about that, young fella." And I was like, "Yeah, no, it's grand. Like, don't worry about it." And he was like, "It was I got you confused with a lad who was at the back of the bus. He would just have to be happened like had a skin fade and like a black jacket or something, like
Mm. Yeah.
the Dublin dress code." So that's like the only really other fucking crazy thing that's happened to me. I don't know if you have any other ones that you want to.
I've got another kind of like small one, and then I've got three like really specific like to me things that
Okay,
happened.
go.
I'll try and brush through them all. It won't take too long with these next ones, but so one that just I didn't actually write this one down, but one that came into mind when you said that about being on the N3 is I was on a bus about 2 years ago coming back from being with Simone in town,
Hmm.
and I was on the bus and the bus went on fire.
No way. When you're on the bus.
Yeah, so we were coming down the N3 and no, sorry, we were just about to get onto the N3 and we were just trucking along and I had my headphones in, and I could kind of smell something funny. And I was like, oh, whatever. Like, yourself when you're like on NPC mode, just listening to music, like kind of staring at the window. And then I looked,
Yeah.
and like there just seemed to be like a bit of a weird hue in the air of some sorts. And then all of a sudden the bus pulls in, and when the bus stopped, black smoke just started to fill the top of the bus. And an announcement: everybody get off this bus right now! And it was like this thing is gonna go on fire like in the next 2 minutes. So like this is a packed 39 as well. This is like it wasn't like it was a Sunday evening, like but Sunday evening coming out of town, it was full of people who had gone shopping and gone to work and whatever. So like this is packed, this thing, and we all have to get off on this bus. Um, and we get off the bus, and like the bus is just like black smoke coming out of the back of the thing, and
No
it
way.
didn't light on fire like with a flame, but like there was like and like fire extinguishers and the fire brigade had to get called, and we're all just sitting there. And obviously because of that, then like because like there's a whole bus of people that need to get on. It took me like I think it took like 45 minutes for me to get on to the next bus because like people were
Oh,
getting on.
yeah, 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 yeah. That's the next bus. Get on the next one that was there. That's
Yeah,
mental.
yeah. So that's great. And so these are like some other like kind of small things that are very specific to me, that were just kind of like either embarrassing or just very uncomfortable. There was one time where I was on my way home from work and I was going from Blanche to Hartstown, and it was like peak winter, freezing fucking cold, and I think I had a bit of a cold or something like that, a bit of a runny nose, and I was just there, and I just like went like that with my nose, and all of a sudden my nose started like gushing bleeding out of nowhere, like
Oh no.
fully out of nowhere, like torrential blood, but I had no tissues around on me.
Uh,
And the only thing I had in my pocket was like a receipt from my lunch. So like I was
from
trying
the
to stop
receipt,
like stop my nose from like I'm talking like full on gushing, it like as if like I'd like not cut a limb off, like, but it wasn't just like trickling down, like it was gushing out, um
Jesus.
so, yeah, that was really. And like I was like I kind of like looked up, I was like, does anyone have a tissue? And like everyone just looked at me like
He was this
and didn't
weirdo
respond.
bleeding out in
Like
the corner, like,
yeah, so that was really weird and uncomfortable. And then I'd like go into the garage and like I just like burst into the garage in Hardstown and like took a handful of napkins, and like the worker was like, "Are you all right, young fella?" And like he just saw me, he was like, "Take as many as you need. Go on, off you
finally
go."
some decent person, like, Jesus Christ.
Yeah, but yeah, that was weird. This one happened to me. All right, so I've one on. I'll do another one on the bus. Right.
Yeah.
I was doing a gig one time, and to be fair, I understand the frustration with this, but the way they carried out was a bit strange. So I got onto a bus after doing a gig. If anybody has seen me do gigs, I usually have two guitars on me, one electric and one acoustic
Mhm.
for certain songs. This tends to take up a bit of room, you know, which is fair, and it's why like now, even if I'm gigging 10 minutes away, and like I was playing a gig last night, and I could have gotten a bus right outside the venue, but I don't because it's too much of a pain in the arse to carry the guitars onto the bus. It takes up too much room.
Mm.
Anyway, this bus, I got on the bus. It wasn't that packed because it was like towards the start of the 39 route. As we get onto the keys and stuff, the bus is starting to fill up, and I'm taking up an awful lot of room with my guitars.
Right.
And some fella, like just a random fella on the bus, just comes up to me and grabs one of my guitars and tries to move it, and is like, "Will you?" He was, and I just like grabbed it back. I was like, "What?" I was like, "What do you think you're doing?" And he was like, "You're taking up too much room with your guitars. People need to sit down. Like this is disgraceful." Blah 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 blah.
What are you meant
And
to
I
do with
was
it?
like,
Like,
"Don't touch my guitars." Like I firmly was just like, "Don't
like,
touch my guitar,
chill
mate."
out, bro.
Like I understand. Don't touch my guitar, right? Like that's fully it. Like so
He
that was a
could
bit
have asked,
strange.
like, oh, he could have just went, like, oh, do you mind just moving that to the side a little bit, mate, just so I can sit down? I'm sure you would have been like, okay, I might lift my guitar, put it in my lap or something. Like, this is the way people on public transport, I think they fucking own it. It's a privilege thing.
Yeah, for sure. No,
Jesus, man.
it's very strange. Like it's like I don't fully disagree with
Mhm.
like like was I taking up a lot of room? Yeah, 100%. But it was the way he like came up to
Yeah.
me aggressively and was like nearly trying to fuck my guitars off the bus. I was like
Yeah.
no,
It's also public transport, so you
And
can
he was
bring
like,
whatever you want, like,
he was trying to be like, you should put that in like the loading bay thing at the bottom. I was like, man, I'm not trying to be funny, but the amount of money
yeah,
these
it's
things are worth,
Dublin, it'll
they're
be
not
robbed.
it'll be robbed, and I'm not leaving these out of my person because of how much all this stuff is not just worth financially, but like in personal value as well because I've had the guitars for so long. And then yeah, the last one I have, this wasn't actually on a bus. This was on a plane, so it's still public transport by all means. But there was one year where me
All
and
right.
Simone were coming back from Salou, and we got on a late flight, and the person beside me fell asleep, which is fairly normal to do on the plane.
Obviously
But
normal.
he fell asleep like on me, and like I don't mean like his shoulder was like just dipping on, like the fella like was fully like cuddled into me, and
And you didn't wake
like
him up.
no, because I felt too awkward, you know. And like what was kind of worse was he kind of kept coming to and waking up every like 15-20 minutes because it's a 2.5 hour flight, and he kind of kept coming in and out, and like he just like would stand up, like bring his head up to like he was like fully like in on my shoulder here, like he would like kind of come up to here and then like go back down again, fall like kind of fall like back into a deeper sleep again, and then like after a while he started drooling, so I had loads of drool like all over like the left side of my top, and Simone's to my right, and she thinks this is the funniest thing ever. But yeah, that was uncomfortable
I can't believe you
to
didn't
say the
move.
very least. Yeah, and I don't even know if he I can't remember if he like fully copped onto it. Like he said, I remember him saying sorry that he fell asleep on me when like we landed, like because like I did eventually have to be like we're getting off the plane now, and like I had drool
Man,
all over me,
oh
and he was
man,
like, "Oh,
man, you're
sorry,
way
but
too good. You're way too good. I definitely would have been like, hear me, can you move over to your side, please? It's like I'm
yeah,
a German, it's like I'm a bulldog beside you.
yeah, I know, man, it was mad."
Yeah. So people, yeah. So moving on, we'll go into our pop culture slash current affairs at the moment. And if you haven't noticed, the clocks went back. So I actually enjoyed my little extra hour sleep on, I think it was Saturday or Sunday. It's weird as well that the same context of the world clock is like it's the same for Ireland than it is in Switzerland as well.
Yeah, well, I think that's because I was talking to somebody who was actually American who like came to that Chronos gig from the States, and
Mhm.
like she was surprised that we did it over here. She was like, "Oh, I thought that was just an American thing," you know. Like not, yeah, I know. But yeah, I think like a large portion of the world do it. Like I think there's very few places, and I think they're all like tropical climates that don't do it. because it's just sunny there all the time anyway. Not jealous whatsoever.
Yeah,
But sorry, go
it's
on.
mad to think years ago as well. Like you'd have to be told about the news, and you'd have to like manually change the time on your phone and your watch. Um, Not like our iPhones now, like automatic. Like I actually genuinely didn't know until Nicola actually had told me. So I woke up. I did no idea that the clocks were going back.
Really,
Um,
yeah.
yeah, like I genuinely had no idea.
Yeah,
Um,
it's always the last Saturday of October and the last Saturday of March. So March they go forward and October they go back, but it's always the last Saturday.
I actually think the reason why they started doing it here, if, I don't know if people are interested in it, but it says in 1916, from off spring to autumn, they adopted this after the First World War, as they needed to use as much daylight as possible to conserve coal. So there you go.
Fair, respect that, respect that. Love the coal.
Respect that, love the coal.
As
Bit
somebody
of
who has
heat.
a fire in their house, I respect that. Coal's expensive, and it also you need to keep it going because if it goes, you gotta start your whole fire again.
One thing I am hoping about when we do move home, when we buy our house, I would love a fireplace. Just some like, and I'm sure I asked the dogs this question, kind of on topic from last week's, but they love lying in front of a nice
Yeah,
hot
yeah,
fire,
yeah.
especially when you
Somebody
get
loves that.
soaked. There's nothing better, just like coming back, getting changed, sitting on the couch, and just watching the fire is nice. You
Yeah,
know what I
it's a nice vibe. The thing is, like, we
mean?
don't have any central heat in our house, so like the fire is like simultaneously lovely, but also like the biggest pain hole. Like I have the fire on right now in the sitting
Mm-hmm.
room, and that's just to keep the house warm. Because if I don't have it warm, the house isn't gonna get hot. You know, because we don't have central heat in the place because our house was built in the '60s.
It's an old one.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's an older house, like so like it's good when you like aren't it's great when you're not relying on it because we used to have them when I lived with my mom as well, and I think we had
Mm.
with Nylands as well. Yeah, I'm pretty sure we did, and like yeah, it's nice for like that vibe, especially like once the heat is built up, it's great, you know, because like
Yeah.
it's just cozy. It's like a great, it's like proper like cup of tea time, you know.
Yeah, I always kind of like symbolize a cup of tea with a warm fire kind of thing.
Yeah.
Darry had it as well. When I lived with Darry, he had a fireplace, and he always has it lit. I mean, obviously not during summer, but I mean, summer in Ireland is pretty much winter. So,
Mm.
and then also when I lived in Cavan, which was great because the winters were really cold down there. I mean, you really feel it. So, yeah, I shout out to fireplaces. And then on other things, kind of on topic from what we were talking about 2 weeks ago, Catherine Connolly is now the president of Ireland, the third female
Yes.
president. If anyone didn't know, Mary Robinson, Mary McAleese, and now Catherine Connolly. So
First one that wasn't called Mary.
yeah, I'm
So
sure
that's
it'd be funny if her middle name was named Mary.
or something.
No,
Yeah, but
I'm
yeah.
actually gonna look what
The
her
second the
middle name
video the
is.
keep you uppies went viral. There was no
Yes,
competition. Heather stood
that's
no
exactly
chance.
why Jim Gavin pulled out because he saw her doing keep you uppies, you
He
know.
saw even as the manager. It's just the thing because he was the manager of the GA team. He was like, I've seen Techers before. Nothing like
Yeah,
that. He
I
just
know
stepped
what's up.
down straight
Like,
away.
oh no way, it's Martina.
It's hitting the post. Hit the post.
Getting the post is close, like.
But yeah, no, it was. I mean, like I said it before. Like Catherine won by such a large margin. Like it was called fairly early on Saturday. And I feel for like a lot of people. Like it was like a one horse race. Like obviously Heather was there, but like
Yeah.
I think Heather only really got votes in Monaghan where she's from. Like you know that's from what I've
Hmm.
seen anyway. I could be wrong on that, but yeah,
I
like
did watch highlights of the debate, and she was not answering very well. I
she
mean, there
kept
was this.
yeah, she kept deflecting things and not giving proper answers.
I mean, like, I know we're like easy enough to talk, but when you're in the situation, it definitely is hard because you're on like live television. So, I mean, but I mean, if you are going for a presidential role, you really need to know how to respond in them situations, and she didn't do that
But
very well. So,
but this is the thing as well. Like you know, I wouldn't really give like class that as an excuse because like as the president, you're going to be addressing the nation. You're going to be on
exactly.
TV. You're going to be asked tough questions all the time. You need to be able to handle those. Like you need to be able to answer those
Mm,
uncomfortable questions, even when it doesn't particularly benefit you. Like you know, when Heather just wasn't able
mm,
to do that. You know, and ultimately, like the presidential role is one that like is a representation of the people of Ireland. Like you know, and we don't want like you know, regardless of like policies around like that, but somebody who isn't able to like fully articulate their thoughts when put under pressure like that from the media, whether it's print media or whether it's television or whether it's somebody coming up to her on the street with their phone with a phone in their face, like you know, you need to be able to handle that, and
I agree.
it's another reason why she wasn't,
Mm.
she wasn't like in favor, like as well as her policies just being kind of mad, you know.
Yeah. Kind of on the
Yeah,
topic as well of her actually being elected. We didn't actually say this before the podcast, but I just remembered it there. I don't know if you've seen the video of her down in Limerick and Enoch Burke. He was the guy that got basically dismissed from the school back in Westmeath. You definitely know the guy.
mm,
Over the whole claims of gender reviews and religious beliefs, he was let go of his job. It's that meme of him standing outside the school 6 months later, kind of thing. But
yeah, I remember.
yeah, she was down there over the gathering of the Palestinian solidarity activists down in Limerick, and he approached her to basically say, "Give me my job back," and to talk about, is this the Ireland you're pushing of religious beliefs and stuff. And I was just
Mm.
thinking, man, like Jesus Christ, she's only in the job a day, and like she's already getting pressed by this dope.
Yeah, well, that's I haven't seen that myself now, but
Yeah,
that's
yeah.
what
Do have a
comes
look
with
at
this. What
do
comes with
have
the
a look at
job,
it
like.
after. Yeah, yeah. I don't know. Do you think like in another life you'd ever go into politics? Like I really think half of the time people are elected in, and then it's like they do this front to get into the presidency and into the Tom's, and it's like you really can't get more and do much from when you're in there because it's just so partied up. You really got to get the backs of another party on your back. So it's like if you're an independent party, it's super, super difficult in Ireland right now.
Yeah, I wouldn't I just couldn't deal with the kind of bullshitness of it. Like, and
Mm,
I don't mean that in terms of like I mean that in terms of like I want to do something. I just want to do it. I'm
mm.
voting if I was voted into a position, but the fact that like there's so many policies and procedures
Sections and
and like
policies and
loopholes and legalities, blah blah blah. Like I think I would really struggle in that environment to like because I would just want to action stuff. I would like to be like stop giving Israel, stop letting Israel fly over our skies, like and stop doing these things that are helping America, that are helping things happen
mhm,
to Israel and stuff like that, or
mhm,
like stop
mhm.
like I just would want it to be done instead of it taking like months or years to go into action. I think that would be a thing for me. Like
I mean, how long have they been talking about the DART system in Dublin, the underground that's meant to be built? Like,
yeah,
I've heard that since growing up at the age of two. Like,
sure, like, and the children's hospital as well. Like it's
oh
all
yeah, yeah. So
it's just a joke. Like
yeah, mm, mm.
And
But
yeah,
yeah,
like it's another part of the presidential election that we're kind of talking about, and like I know we've talked about it quite a bit on the podcast, Lee. So this is like we're retiring this subject for at least 7 years now, or until Catherine comes out with some
and
sort of
to
sex scandal of some sorts.
scandal. It's always the sex scandal. Michael D and his
um,
dog.
yeah, but there was also like such a high percentage of spoiled votes. I think it was something like 27% of votes were spoiled, which is
Mental.
like I saw a tweet or a video and somebody had put feces on their vote to spoil it. Like
Yeah,
that's not
damn.
spoilage, that's soilage,
Mm.
That's fucking diabolical.
There
Like
was a lot
that
of people.
is
There
crazy.
was a lot of people as well, like kind of joking at the whole Conor McGregor thing. I seen they were like writing his name and then with an X and then posting it up online and stuff
Mm.
like that. So yeah, it's just kind of the state of where our country is a bit weird at the moment. It was
One
really
that I
funny as well
thought
that we elected a independent left winger as well.
yeah.
I know. Yeah, but anyway, go
One
on.
one I thought was like so contradicting. Like it was actually incredibly. This is how people who this is how some people think, right? They had spoiled their vote and like cross put X's across all the candidates, which like, you have to put 1, 2, 3, 4 for anybody who doesn't know. You
Yeah.
can't write X. You put
Mhm.
X across all the candidates and like drawn on their faces, and then like drew at the top of their ballot paper something being like she was only 10 years old, and lock up that pedophile, lock up that like
Mhm.
something. No, it was something to like lock up that rapist or
Over
something like
the
that.
incident that happened in City West last week. Yeah.
And then what made this like the pièce de résistance about this was under all the president's names, he then wrote Conor McGregor's name, drew himself a little box, and put a one beside it.
Yeah, I seen all that. Yeah, online.
Which
Yeah.
so you're saying she was only 10 and talking about this like how horrible this rapist like this rape was, which is a horrible thing, absolutely, like there's no
Of course.
debate that, but then you
Of
are
course.
trying to then vote for a rapist.
Another rapist. Yeah.
make
Yeah.
it make sense. You know,
Yeah.
just
Make it make
honestly,
sense.
I have more respect for people who didn't vote than people that spoiled their vote. Anybody who spoiled their vote, honestly, give your head a wobble because it does nothing except make you look like a fool.
Also getting out of bed that day and thinking, you know what, I'm gonna go out of my way, wait in line 20 minutes and then write a fake vote. I mean, I just it's just a waste of time, really. I
Yeah,
don't really understand people's way of thinking. But anyway, that's again the state of our country and where we are at the moment. But
yeah, for
hopefully
sure.
things will change. And unfortunately, Catherine won't have much to say because the way our country works, it's through the
Well,
Taoiseach,
it's
not
through the
the
Taoiseach and
president.
the
So
government.
yeah,
Yeah,
yeah. So there won't be much change there. But fair play there. Well done for getting
it's a
elected
good
and
sign though that a left, like a
a left
majority
winger
has
is
voted. Like we
it's
have
kind of what we
as a
needed
country
right
have
now.
voted for left. Like you know,
Mm, mm, mm.
so like that's
Yeah,
like promising. Like it's promising for the next general election, which is going to take place in like three or
seven
four
years
years.
or whatever. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah. So I'm conscious of time. So we'll move on to our dilemmas for the week, if that is cool with you.
sounds good.
So we've got two new ones. And surprisingly, we've actually been enjoying the segments over the past couple of weeks. It was something we were actually, it was going to be a test in the waters, but I'm feeling like it's been something we've both been enjoying recently. So another two different ones this week compared to last week. I'll read the first one out now. So my best friend and I used to talk every day, but now they only text when they need something. I don't want to be petty, but it's starting to bother me. Should I say something?
Yes,
Let you go first on this one.
yes, you should.
Yeah. Yeah.
And the reason you should say something is because it will come out in other ways that is gonna like break up your friendship. In like when the problem could have been like, dealt with at its root. You know, I didn't go through something like not too I went through something like not too dissimilar, where you know I felt like the friendship wasn't being maybe as valued. And
Hmm.
honestly, the best thing I would say is to talk to the person, just say how you feel and say it straight up. Because if you don't and you let it continue, you're gonna start to and like even the fact that like this message has come in, you know, you're gonna start to build a resentment. You're gonna start to build an anger and a distrust, and that's not what you want. That's not a friendship. Like that's someone you're just keeping in contact with. Like so for me, I would definitely talk about it and do it. Like don't do it like from like an intimidating way or like you know we've all got busy lives, and sometimes like I've felt that I've come across that way, and I've talked to my friends and said, hey, you know, life's just been crazy. I know, we haven't talked much recently, and then when we have, it has been kind of in that type of way of like maybe you're looking for a favor
Hmm.
or something like that. I think just clear communication is the key thing here. Like do it in a calm environment, do it face to face. Because like things can get taken out of context really easily over text message as well. So I would really, really recommend you sit down with this person in a safe space, somewhere where you both feel comfortable, and just talk it out. Because like I said, I feel like things can just spiral and go into uncomfortable territory if you don't do that.
Yeah, I kind of agree with you there as well. I do think if it's that's something that is on your mind and you don't want to come across as petty, it's definitely better to bring it up as early as possible rather than let it linger because it will come out in different things. Especially I've seen it as well. Like I know, kind of don't want to bring too much about alcohol and drugs into it, but like I've seen people that have wanted to say something to their friend and they let it build, and then under consumption of alcohol, people get a lot of braver and more confident, and then they say it, and then it comes out in the way that they didn't want to talk about it. So I do think the best thing in that situation would to just be like, look, can we chat for a minute? Or look, can we go on a walk or have a phone call and just be open with them? I mean, like I said before, and it's kind of similar to like some of the topics we've been talking about over the past couple of weeks, but if they're your friend, they'll respect you for having the honesty to speak about it. And like me, I can even give you an example. Like recently, like obviously me and Shaun do a podcast now, and initially when we started the podcast, we have to have conversations about what things me and Shaun are comfortable about speaking about, what we're not comfortable speaking about, what we want to release out to online as well when we're doing the podcast. So I feel like, you know, if Shaun didn't do that with me and I wasn't respecting his ways and he wasn't respecting my ways, it would be a big issue that would be built up later in the podcast. But, thankfully myself and Shaun have been friends for a while now and we're not really afraid to speak up about things that bother us. And you know what I mean? It does take time, I think. It also does reflect back on your friendship. But overall, I would say if it is bothering you, love yourself as much as possible and respect the friendship. So I'd speak up, yeah.
Yeah,
That's
for
kind of all
sure.
I have
And
to say
like
on that topic.
I think like you'll get your answer very clearly then, like when you bring it up to this person, because like you don't have to say, hey, I want to. You don't have to say, hey, I want to meet up with you and talk about this. You can just say, hey, do you fancy meeting up? Because by what I like again, just to stress to people who maybe haven't gotten to this section before, these are all totally anonymous. We have no idea. Well,
Yeah.
I certainly don't have any idea who this person is. Don't know whether they're a boy, whether they're a girl, whether their friend is a boy or a girl, or anything like that. So I what I'm trying to say is you'll get your answer very quickly once you meet up with them and say, like I was trying to get into there was like don't you know text and say, hey, I want to talk about us. I want to talk about this thing that's bothering me. Text them and say, hey, can we go for a coffee? Meet them at a time, and then just kind of calmly explain it to them, because like I said, some things can just get taken out of context then, or like if you tell them that you're meeting up with them to kind of discuss this, it can kind of feel like a bit of a diss in a way, and you want it to come
Mhm.
across as an open conversation, like
Yeah, yeah.
yeah,
It also depends as well how the other friend takes it, you know, because again, just the person did say it's my best friend, so it's not just like someone that they went to school with, or
mm,
they're half friends with. Like you, this obviously this person has been friends with this person for, I'm guessing, a long time. It doesn't necessarily time has to be a matter of how long you were friends with someone, but I mean like for them to talk and consider them one of their best friends. I mean, I'm presuming that they've been in contact for a long time, so. I
yeah,
do
and
think
like sorry, go on.
that the initial trust is probably there a long time. So I mean, I feel like you were saying there beforehand, I wouldn't be too bothered about being petty. I feel like the person would understand you so much because you probably built up bond and connection over the past couple of years. But yeah, I'll let Shaun speak finally on that.
Yeah, I think like you'll get your answer like straight away. Like I think when you do sit them down to talk about this, and if they're being really like passive aggressive and negative back to you, and like not understanding your way, I think that's like probably the sign to be like, right, okay, maybe this friendship has just run its course, and that doesn't have to be like in like a really like negative way. Like these things happen. Like people grow up, and like there's people like we've talked about this before. Like it's kind of like a lot of like kind of where the podcast kind of stems from, of like as you grow up you grow apart from people for different
Mm,
reasons. Some people move away, some people get new jobs, some people get boyfriends, they get girlfriends, and priorities shift and change, and they don't have as much free time and stuff, like and I think by like having that conversation face to face, it'll like ease a lot of anxiety,
hmm
and like you'll get your answer, and like if this person still wants to be your friend, they will fight for the friendship, like like they will go, oh, I'm sorry, I didn't realize I was coming across that way, or that's not how I saw it, I'm really like, now they'll empathize with you to a certain extent, whereas if they say, well, that's a you problem, or well, I've got all this going on, or if they try and like kind of make themselves the victim, that's like you've got your answer there of like where your friendship is at and where it's going to be going.
Yeah, I agree with you. So, and then our last one is my boss offered me a promotion, but it would mean I'd have to manage people I'm friends with. Is it worth all the drama? Um, I've actually worked in a situation where my friend was promoted to a kind of senior position and a higher position when I was at a younger age. And it worked for us because we were able to find that balance between friend and someone who may be in, work terms a bit more superior than you in terms of they have more of a authoritative role. But I can see how this person might be worried about, is it worth all the drama? Because I have heard stories before where it hasn't, people have let the power go to their heads, and it reflected badly onto that work friend kind of balance. So one thing I would say is I think if the promotion there and it means, look, more money for you, better situation for yourself, definitely do take it. But I think, I would reflect more about when you do get into the role, how are you going to find that work-life balance with your friend? Because you do need to have, they say this thing about people that are in higher positions, you need to wear many different hats. So if you're working with someone who's out of a younger age, someone who's a bit of an older, maybe you might speak to them and communicate differently with them. So again, this is said here, I'm stating it's I'd have to manage my friends. So if they're your friends, and I know you probably know them a while, again, like again, I'm bringing time period into it, but you would know what suits when what not suits. It'd be like if I demanded Shaun to be like, oh, put the podcast out now at 10 o'clock on Sunday, if he probably would take that as a bit of a like, what the hell? But if I said to him, look, man, I'm busy, would you be able to put the podcast out on 10 o'clock? It's a similar situation there in terms of like your friends balance. So yeah, that's kind of my advice would be really reflect back on the communication style and then also worry about the work-life balance then when you're in the role. I don't know if you want to speak on that, Stu.
Yeah. The second I read this, my first instinct is take the job. No, like I really would strongly advise you take the job, and I get where you're coming from in terms of like like oh you're worried about like your relationship with people changing. Your relationship is going to change with them. There is no two ways about it. You are going to become like you're going to be managing them now. That doesn't mean the relationship has to go bad or the relationship has to like the core of it has to change, but you have to you know take it, and been offered a promotion because you lead by example in your work, or the person who decides to promote you sees something in you that they want to progress your career, right? And that's a credit to you. And especially when it comes to jobs, you do have to be a little bit selfish. You have to put yourself first. And like if you like I would really, it would be a shame for you to turn down a promotion because of not being able to being worried about your relationship with your friends. And like if they are your friends, they'll be happy for you that you've gotten this promotion, and they'll also respect your authority now that you're in that position. And I think it's about setting like really like strong boundaries of like when, like I'm not sure if you're friends with these people inside and outside of work. I'm not sure if it's just strictly co-worker friends or if it's like you were friends
Mhm.
before or you've become
Yeah.
friends since. But like and I've been in a similar boat to Imran where like I've had my friends be promoted above me, and then I've then been promoted above my friends. And like it's all just about like clear communication and setting your boundaries of what is okay. And like you also then have to become very aware of like what's okay for you to communicate with them as well. Like for example, like if you are like really jokey and really if you would like I'm just going to give an example, like if you would make like a kind of like sexualized type of comment, you now have to realize you're in a different position now. You are ahead of them in management, like and you can't speak to somebody like that. you know it's just about like thinking about those little things. But I would still highly recommend you take it for the betterment of your career. And if your friends can't respect that, it says more about them than it does about you.
Yeah. Yeah. Definitely. And again, like I'm kind of on the point with Shaun there, definitely do take the promotion. I mean, we've kind of, as you get older as well, these opportunities don't come up as much as you would like to see. So the person is obviously doing something correct in the workplace for them to be getting the role, either that be leading by example or, doing very well in their specific role. So yeah, take the job opportunity and then worry about the work dilemmas with the friends when you're in the position. Yeah. That's all I have to say on that topic.
Cool. And yeah, I
Cool.
think that we've gotten through all of our sections for today. So I think it's time that we wrap up this episode. Is there anything you have to say to the listeners before we log off for this evening, Imran?
Yeah, just I know we kind of say this a lot, but just been really enjoying the segments of the podcast recently. Especially the out of context scenario. I think that brings a bit of fun to the podcast. And then the dilemmas here at the end as well is kind of something like me and Shaun would often talk about between ourselves. Obviously it would be on specific personal things, but yeah, I'm really enjoying this new segment idea with the podcast, and I'm hoping for many more episodes to come.
Cool. All right.
Cool.
Well, guys, we will leave you with that. Thank you so much. This has been episode number 37 of the Distance Dilemma podcast. My name is Shaun and I am in Dublin, Ireland. This has been Imran. He is in Thun, Switzerland. This is our long distance friendship podcast, episode number 37. Thank you so much for tuning in, and we will see you again next week. New episodes every single Monday at 7 a.m. Central European time and 6 a.m. Irish time. Thank you so much, and we will talk to you in the next one.